Welcome back to our Global iTech Solution GITS Cypress channel on lecture 11. Before you started this lecture, I highly encourage you to complete previous lecture related to this course. Let's get started and jump on the topics. Today we'll be learning about, on the previous class we stuck with the executions, all the 45 test cases. We'll be debugging today, make sure the data-driven concept is working up and running. And then also we'll be starting the keyword driven concept today, and we'll be pushing our latest changes in the GitHub. Let's dive into it. So take a look over here on the screen on the test cases, which is we have a 45 individual test case, right? And on previous class we did add all the keywords, link text, and also link values, right? And we call them into the test case. So this is our link text and this is our links value as a like part of the data driven concept. So this is the application data, so we'll be managing in later on during the after the optimization of our code optimization basically. So now on the data.json file, I made a mistake over here. I put the another more than one string. Also some of the variable which is we declared, it was not right variable. It was not corresponding to the right variable. So I fixed a little bit on the behind the scene and make things work. Now if you run this code, npm run test, this test case should be up and running, right? Now take a look over here. This test, each individual test, a little bit more meaningful, and also it is manageable through the data, which is we manage the data inside the page home page data.json file. All the data, we put them together into a single file. So if anything's failed based on the text or based on the link value, so we can manage inside the homepage data.json file. We don't have to come back to our test cases. So we are on our architecture. Basically, if we take a look one more time the architecture, we are here, core concept, data driven concept, right? Which is we are basically using our data driven concept. Now we'll be jump into keyword driven concept. Now let's go ahead and take a look in the test case. We have 44 individual test case here, right? And this 45 test case, it started with the 8 block. Now take a look inside the 8 block. So we are using the sci.get. So there is a 2 events from the Cypress we are using. One of them is a contains, so which is we are trying to verifying the text from the locator. So we get the locators, then we are trying to saying, okay, so on that locator there is a text available, right? So this is a contains. One of the keyword one of the events came from the Cypress. The second one, we are validating that link has a value, right? The expected value, expected link with the URL, right? So that's mean that we are using should, another events from the Cypress. Now as we are using this contain and should on each test cases, right, everywhere. So this is a keyword came from, or the event came from the Cypress. Let's go ahead and customize this. Sci.get and contains sci.get.should. Now we will be create a under the project. So this is our project, right? Cypress E2E video. Under this project, we'll be creating a package. So like the package we are creating over here, as a page object. Same way I will be creating a package called, so it will be under the Cypress. Please remember all the time it will be under the Cypress. We'll be creating a package called utilities. And under the utilities we'll be creating another file called a utils.js. So inside the utils.js we'll be declaring as a constant utils equal, and inside this utils, basically once you declare that utils, we have to export module, right? Export dot module.export, basically module.export equal utils, right? So we are exporting the module.export same way you did that over here on the page object model, right? Module.exports home page. So same thing you are doing over here. You are creating a .js file, and you are declaring a constant which is a utils, and inside the utils we'll be creating our couple of functions, right? Which is a keyword. Those keyword we see contains and should, and also the sci.visit. So basically we will be removing all the sci command from here. Sci.get, all the sci, which is a Cypress command, will be put them into the utils.js file. So in order to do that, so I already created a couple of functions. I'm just going to be copying and pasting it due to time consuming, right? Now take a look over here. So we are using over here the visit, right? Visit is our functions we create. We create visit is our function, and URL is our argument as a parameters. Now we pass sci.visit URL, right? And the same thing, click on element. In order to clicking on the elements, we are using click on element as a function. The locator is our variable, locator is our parameters we are passing in, and we are using sci.get locator.click. So later on we can just put the locator in the functions. So same thing, verify text contains, which is we are using the contains keyword. On that contains we are using sci.get locator.contains text. So basically this text would be expected text. Verify link values. So inside the link values, sci.get locator dot should have attributes href link values, right? So once we call the functions, we'll be passing those values. Nothing more than that. So now if you're going back over here, let's see constant utils on the utils file, we should have everything ready as you see, but there is some error. We are seeing it, right? So why is that error? Take a look and try to debug it. So this sci, it came from the Cypress. It is a global. So we have to declare as a global. So if we take global and type sci, the error should be gone, right? So sci is not a problem. The problem is it's giving us sci.visit URL. Now let's say this is the constant utils equal, we started with the curly brace, right? Now let's go ahead and delete this one. I'm going to be creating new one, visit and colon URL. This is our arguments, and this is the ES6 features, which is a, then inside it will be using sci.visit, and it will have our URL. So this is it, right? This is our functions we created. Now we'll call them into our test cases. So instead of sci.visit, so instead of, in order to calling that, we have to import it, right? import utils from our utilities and utils. This is the way you are inheriting. So now if you call that here utils.visit, then we'll be passing our URL. That's it, instead of this line. So we're not using sci anymore, right? Same thing, we'll be calling here utils dot verify text contents, right? Inside the contents we're passing the values. One of them it's our locator, and another one with the comma, which is our text, right? So this is look like. So once we use our keyword driven functions, it's the same thing. The other one, utils dot verify link value with text. So that's when we have a parameters. The locator, first we have a locator, then we have attributes, this one, which is basically everything we have inside, right? So if I put them here, so this is look like instead of this line. So you see the sci.get should, we just like them get rid of that line, and we're using utils.verify link values and using all the parameters. This is how it's supposed to be working once you using the keyword driven framework. So you'll be replacing with the verify text contents with the all other test cases, verify link values, or with the all other test cases. Let's go ahead and run it. Let's see it is working or not. If it is working, we can refactor other test cases. So it takes a little bit times, but let's see it is working or not. Link assert contains. Okay, there you go. So all the test cases are passing. So that's when the first test case are up and running. Now we'll be changing, refactoring the rest of the keyword driven test cases. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. Stay tuned for upcoming lecture for the rest of the course. Thank you.